So hey, welcome back. This is the Target Audience Podcast. This is Ben.
This is TJ.
And I'm Pierce. Da da da.
Da da da. Alright, cool. So we're right back in the swing of things. This is our first normal episode in what feels like the entire time we've been doing this show. We were actually recording when we intend to record, and we might actually publish when we intend to publish.
Exactly.
I think you just cursed us.
You jinxed it.
It's like every single thing. There's been a roadblock in between every episode, and this is the first normal one we've done.
The last time
followed up, like it's an actual follow up to
the last time we had
promised.
an intro that was in this similar vein, you were even like, I think you even said something along the lines of like, and here we are on the first actual episode of Everything's Going Smooth, and that's the episode where we hit a bunch of roadblocks and had to take all this time off.
All right, so you guys like in a month.
Yeah. So so we're recording. We just published a new episode. A little back. I guess it's gonna be 2 weeks from when you hear us now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope you liked it. Now's your chance for you to talk back to us as if we're like part of it's an interactive show.
Yeah, what part did you like?
Yeah.
Well, you're fucking stupid. That part sucked.
Yeah. You fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So for those of you who are new to the show or you're old listeners and you're just tuning back in, we go around in a rotation, choosing 3 movies, including at least one new release that we can talk about, and go from there.
Typically, we go off of it'll be a Ben, Pierce, or my week.
Yes.
Yes.
And last week we did something a little bit special since we were jumping back into things. We each picked one movie, and we're going to be talking about it. And this week will be TJ's, which we'll get to later in the episode where we talk about what movies he wants us to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's start with TJ. Since it's his week going into it, what movie did you recommend last week?
I recommended Lady Bird.
Cool. Pierce, what did you recommend?
I recommended Other Side of the Wind.
And I recommended Hellraiser.
Very different pick from that.
Yep.
It felt so out of place watching
really,
Lady Bird,
Other
Side of the Wind, and then Hellraiser.
I really do enjoy
Sometimes
weeks.
you need a palate cleanser, you know?
I really do enjoy weeks where we all pick ones, like when we do special stuff like that, how it's always something vastly different from the last movie.
Yeah.
It's always interesting.
I'm saying
And Hellraiser really is a palate cleanser.
It is, because it's just I just want something that I don't really have to worry about following or emotional attachment.
Well, and yeah, it's also just it's just a solid 80s horror movie.
It's a
classic. We can get in and talk about that one first.
Oh yeah, sure. We'll talk about Hellraiser first. So Hellraiser is Clive Barker's 1980...
87.
87.
Right,
I didn't realize it was so late in the 80s.
Fuck that one up.
Yeah, so it's about an unfaithful wife who encounters the zombie of her dead lover and the demonic Cenobites who are pursuing him after he escaped their sadomasochistic underworld.
Cenobites. It'd be cool if back then when they're promoting this movie, if some Domino's or something was Cenobites, and they had
Cenobites.
little Hellraiser shaped cinnamon bites,
and some of them have pin needles stuck inside them.
So
you're like, fuck.
Yeah, my favorite part
experience
about
ultimate
this movie was
pleasure
the
and pain
Cenobites that I was eating while watching.
Yeah. So so Hellraiser, man, what a fucking movie to start with.
Honestly, it's such a weird kind of series of movies because they start off so strong and then it just becomes crap so instantly as they go on later, especially the ones that were released in the 2000s, 2010s.
I always deem the first one as an essential. If you're getting into horror movies, it's a great
starter.
pack.
But then the first Hellraiser is also, I think it was pretty ahead of its time.
Oh, most definitely.
Because horror movies back then, they got gross, but they weren't as as brutal as Hellraiser.
To an extent, with some of the stuff that they do, for sure.
Some of the effects in Hellraiser were
I think maybe it's because
shit.
Hellraiser is one of the horror movies that makes me squeamish a lot because they're sexy demons. They're not literally sexy, but they're there's obviously a sexual nature to them.
There's a lot of eroticism to it.
There's an eroticism that you're just I don't want to be turned on, but a little there's a part of me.
It makes you uncomfortable.
It.
It makes me uncomfortable, and then especially I
don't want to be have a bunch of hooks through me and like kind of like have it on that turning piece of
But it
wood
makes
and
you
fillet,
think where
and
it's
then you're
like,
well,
is it worth it?
Well, he kind of likes it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, exactly. And then
Let's give it a shot.
and I like gore. I can watch gore no problem. But the one thing that always gets me is skin peeling.
Yeah.
Peeling off of things. And Hellraiser is like a whole lot of that. There's a whole lot of skin being stretched off of people, being hooked up. Like the guy's nipples are like hanging down and stuff like
even
that.
Even the methods, because like you know, the plot of the movie is like, you know, the wife being unfaithful because she has a love for the brother who like escaped the other realm.
Yeah.
That they find.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like one of those, like the way she just lures a bunch of men in because like
into her trap.
Because the brother's like, I need to rebuild and become human again, and he's slowly being transformed back into like a mortal human.
You know what?
Crazy shit.
Same Hellraiser, Under the Skin. They're the same movie.
They have a lot of similarities.
Similarities.
Yeah, but before like we get too deep into the plot, I know we're like jumping in deep but like this is one that like I have never seen this movie before.
Oh yeah, that's what.
So when I never saw any of the Hellraiser movies.
Yeah,
so
when
what
you
was your
recommended
reaction
it, I thought
on
that,
it?
I'm interested. What was your first impression?
So I had prior to this, like I had been on like the Hellraiser like wiki, like in the past, and I went like into like the deep lore behind it because
I've never gone into.
That's what really interests me, like with the Cenobites. So I went into expecting like them to be a lot more present in the movie than they are.
Oh yeah,
and it's really just like it's a standalone tale, and then like Cenobites are kind of like they're the ignition for the plot before the plot, basically. And this like man's pursuit for that like state of being that they would grant. And then they kind of just show up in the back like third to a quarter of the movie. Like it's they just kind of get shoehorned in, it felt like.
Well, and then like
which was so weird. It caught me off guard because it was like I went through like I'm like, are they gonna like come on like the halfway point? But like it's just like no, it keeps with the more grounded and I feel like
of the movie. Pinhead, he's their
mascot.
Yeah, no, they made this character and they're like, okay, they knew that they had struggled. They're like, this guy looks.
It's like they didn't know what to do with him.
That actually wasn't necessarily the intention. I've read in places before that Pinhead wasn't even meant to be such a crucial staple to the Hellraiser franchise. He just was such a awesome character that they were like, we got to keep him in all these movies.
Okay, but
going.
Okay, but like, why are all the posters? Why do they all have Pinhead on them and not the evil zombie man?
There's never
because Pinhead is insanely badass. That's why.
But that zombie was fucking brutally cool looking though. Why isn't there like a poster all dedicated to that?
In the end, it's the Cenobites that connect all the other stories into the Hellraiser world.
But as a singular film, what I've seen, it just seems weird.
Well,
I feel like the movie would be stronger almost if they weren't in it.
I agree. I'm not even sure that was the initial intention. I think that was more of like a film company.
You can tell with like the later movies that they obviously started to like build it more around.
Yeah, like I know the second one.
That's what ties them together. Yeah, because it's like once you go into that other realm.
Is it the second one where it's got like the twins? The twin Cenobites, and they're like seducing that dude, and they run their like hand under his skin.
I remember that. I'm not sure.
That sounds very like it would make me scream a lot.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like really erotic, but then you just see the hand just slide under.
Ooh.
Like it's like they're like putting their hand under like a sheet.
shirt.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Like So I saw that, and I'm like, that's fucking cool. I want to see Cenobites doing shit like that. And this one, they're just kind of like there, and there's like, laser powers. And then, like, the lady's just like, you're gone, and now you're gone, and now you're gone, and now you're gone. And it's like, Cenobites done.
They're
until the very last one.
When I watch these movies, too, I treat the cube that introduces you into the realm with the Cenobites and everything. Yeah. I always like to pretend that is sold from the same guy that sold Mogwais.
Yeah, it's definitely the same guy.
I treat it like they're canon, like they happen.
That and Big Trouble in Little China, like those are a shared universe.
Yeah, like it's honestly, literally like if you want some crazy.
If there's a studio that has the right to all three of these movies, I could see them easily turning them to the next Avengers.
Oh, weird idea. Take Gremlins, take Hellraiser, take Big Trouble in Little China, all those, and have that could have been in like an anthology series. It was like Tales of like Chinatown.
Yeah.
And have all the weird spin-offs of all these
the
cursed Chinese artifacts.
Tales of the Shopkeeper.
Yeah. There we go.
And he's just like a very old wise man who likes to mess with people by giving them cursed objects.
It's just a slightly racist Tales of the Crypt.
Slightly racist. We get a white man to play the Chinese guy, of course.
Oh man, but no, I thought it's a really solid flick, and the special effects are really something.
They are really good.
Reveled at.
The scene where the brother, the husband, Larry. So
Mhm.
Larry, like he hurts himself, he gets some blood spilled, and then like it like kickstarts like the house's reaction to summon his like evil brother into reality again.
Yeah.
And him, like that first scene of like his body starting to like
with the blood
coalesce and become and like he's like it's like reverse decay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love like
It's
when
super
he's
cool.
I love when he's starting to like you're like become human again, and he's just got that thin layer of nerve endings on his skeleton and everything, and he's just like, "Don't look at me."
Yeah.
And he's in that room just kind of hiding
And
in the
everything
corner.
hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he's so raw
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Something about that is so unnerving, knowing that like every step he takes or every touch, a gust of wind just would hit your nerves.
Every
like that.
sensation must be pain.
Ben even made a joke like, could you imagine just like if someone just came in with some salt?
And just was like just
Imagine just like a bunch of just dry rice and just throws it, just sticks to it.
But visually it's so cool, and I do like the other, like, you know how you said you thought it was going to be more about the realm with Pinhead and the other Cenobites. I think I do like the other story too. It is scary in itself of just what she's doing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how...
Like, I think it would be interesting to cut the Cenobites out of that film and see, like, how it could have been.
It's a movie with all these, like, you know, like, since Halloween had a successful
exactly,
reboot
that was supposed
sequel,
to be an anthology.
I would love... Hellraiser is one I'd love to see a nice treatment of. Like, a respected, nice, big Hollywood budgeted treatment of a new Hellraiser movie. I would like to see that.
Is it weird that I feel like
I don't think they're capable of doing it,
I feel like
though.
this is weird in the sense that it's, like, it's tasteful gore.
Yeah.
Like, it's shot in such a way that it lingers on it. But I feel like if they were to remake it, they would do it almost like Saw, where it's just like lots of fast, violent cuts.
See,
where like it doesn't really give you enough time to sink in. It's just you're more just like, oh god.
No, that's
it's
not.
Not, it's not like, oh god.
Like when the guy gets strung up with the like the barbed wire and stuff. That's
done
brutal.
I think when done right, I would want Clive Barker to be involved. Obviously, Doug Bradley would have to be Pinhead.
Yeah.
Anytime they get another Pinhead, it always looks fucking goofy.
It does look
like
goofy.
In the other movies.
They get
Doug
like a
Bradley,
buff ass.
To me, Doug Bradley is the definitive Pinhead.
They had like another like in one of the Hellraisers, it's like a buff bald dude is like
there's one dude that just looks super goofy. He just looks like the knockoff version.
Like
you know, it's like the generic cereal.
Isn't there one where it's just like there's no face and it just has like a big stick poking out of his forehead?
It's just yeah.
There's some. I've seen all the design or a lot of the designs.
But like
there's
a respectable treatment
like
reboot, I would like to see.
It's like a Jabba the Hutt type looking one.
Yeah. There's one that looks like CeeLo Green.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. With the sunglasses. It's CeeLo Green doing whiteface. What if they remake Hellraiser and then they casted CeeLo Green as that guy?
I'll be honest, it would work.
It would work. I mean, he doesn't have to even say anything.
And then the one who likes clacking his teeth, you get like Jim Carrey. You gotta get someone, or no, you get
a bunch of really famous people to play the Cenobites.
You get Gary Busey to be the one who's like.
Oh, the chatters.
Gary Busey has the potential to be a terrifying villain or monster in a horror movie.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think anyone has used Gary Busey to his full potential.
I think they're afraid. What if he goes method actor?
What if he goes? I think he is. I think they just keep rolling.
He thinks there's a camera on him at all times. He's been acting this entire time ever since the accident.
The only reason he's like that is because he thinks he's preparing. He's method acting for
a role.
For a role. I'm going deep undercover.
He thinks he saw Being John Malkovich once, and he was like, I can do that for Gary Busey. And it's just him like doing weird shit.
Being Gary Busey. And
they should just get him to play the Joker.
remake Being John Malkovich, being Gary Busey, and no one wants to be Gary Busey, so it's like kind of a boring movie because nothing happens.
Back to Hellraiser. So yeah, it would have been really interesting to see what they could have done with that movie, but didn't do. I'm not in a huge rush to go see the sequels,
but you'll probably check them out eventually.
See, that was me after I've only seen like a little bit. I've actually never seen a full sequel to Hellraiser.
It was a movie that was so well done, but I'm left going, it's like, okay.
I hear the second one's better than the first one.
See, I've seen some of the other ones, but for me personally, I always thought the first one grabs me more than any of them.
See, I hear
the second one's not bad or anything.
People either like the first one or they really like the second one, and then the other movies no one ever talks
about.
The
second one's worth checking out. Maybe if it builds more on the Cenobite mythology in the later ones, I might give it a shot.
I hear the second. I haven't seen the second one.
There's some
really just a little crazier.
Yeah, that might be like I'll do it on my own after I've watched some other like watch the essential movies that we're supposed to be watching for the podcast.
There's some really shitty Hellraiser sequels.
That's why
that don't do them.
I see. It's like I immediately know exactly how they would have done it bad without having seen them.
Hellraiser 1 and 2 are definitely worth checking out, and just like for the sake of being Hellraiser. But I'm telling you, the later ones, some people don't take as good of care of them as like you should. You know?
No. There was just like. Pinhead looks cool. Let's make a movie.
Definitely, and I get that appeal.
Yeah. So Lady Bird, how was Lady Bird?
Lady Bird was like it was just a really solid movie. Like
I thought it was excellent.
Pierce, did it emotionally impact you? Did tears well up for you?
No, I didn't cry.
I think overall it had a great script, great direction.
It was very realistic in like the interactions with the characters.
Definitely.
Like especially with the mom and the daughter, it was like very.
I think it's a movie that everyone to a certain degree
can. So
for
those of you who don't know, by the way, before we get into an analysis, Lady Bird is a 2002 placed movie about a young girl kind of coming of age and like finding where she sits in the world and like what she wants to be and who she is as a person.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to describe it.
And you know what? Honestly, it doesn't even look like. When I watched it, like I forgot that it took place in 2002. Like while watching it.
Really?
See, because there's like lots of little things. Maybe it's because you were much younger in 2002.
That's true.
Yeah, but then I was also just like, this just kind of looks like a movie. Like they're just driving old cars, just like movies I watch anyway that come out like at this
2002
time.
is recent enough that like things do look kind of the same now.
Yeah, exactly. But there's just like. I mean, definitely certain like clothes they were wearing. I'm like,
them making.
2002 looks like poor modern.
Well, not only that, her listening to like what is it, Alanis Morissette in the
true.
car, and then like
Backstreet Boys,
like what was relevant at the time, the jokes they were making,
cell phones.
Remember, I love the bit where she's making the joke about applying to
but
New
see, I
York
forgot it
college.
took place in 2002 until he's like, soon everyone's gonna have a cell phone.
Yeah.
Or when she's talking about applying to a New York art college kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, it might be easier to get in. That's only because a lot of people aren't going because of the
terrorism
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. There's stuff that like definitely like puts it, but I feel like the movie just didn't look super early 2000s.
I mean, I guess they could have had more like acid wash jeans and stuff, but right, that was the thing.
That wasn't 2000s.
There was
that was 90s.
There was some stupid clothes.
No, but I thought that the dialogue was very
they
well
should have had trip pants.
I think there wasn't enough Jinkos in this movie.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was a great coming of age story that like everyone to a degree can almost relate to. The way the dialogue, the way the movie's written, it's so well done. The opening scene is one of my favorite opening scenes.
Caught me so off guard.
It's one of my favorite opening scenes to a movie I've seen in a long time.
That was awesome. That was a great opening to
and
the movie.
The argument
really sets up the relationship between the mom and the daughter.
And how she is. She's like, I'm just gonna get out now. Yeah. I know how this is going.
And I love how the dialogue, like, it wasn't like trying to be funny or anything, but it had great like one-liners. Just everything felt genuine in that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was conversationally funny.
Oh, but I guess the point I was trying to make was I didn't really understand why the movie kind of took place in 2002. I felt like
I think it has something to do when she wrote it with herself in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why she just wanted to make it. Because usually, like when a movie, like when Stranger Things takes place in the 80s, because it's going for such a Spielberg type vibe and stuff like that.
I think this was just like it fit the narrative, like of her personal.
Also, I feel like a lot of her problems she ran into
would
be solved by modern day, like being able to apply for colleges online and stuff like that. Like it was a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many things that are like if there was social media, things would have been completely different in this movie. And I think by setting it where it was, it allows you to have a modern story without modern conveniences.
That's true. And also, I'm actually kind of, now that I think about it, I'm kind of glad it didn't take place in modern day because the whole social media aspect.
Yeah, there really hard on Facebook, on Twitter, and all that shit.
It's really hard for movies to get how teens interact on social media, right? Because it's all written by old men who are like, oh yeah,
that's what
kids say LOL out loud.
And this works, in a
because
way
she was alive during 2002,
and
young during 2002,
and that's how people were, you know.
And I mean, she's just like eccentric enough, like in the movie too,
she's quirky,
where she fits in with some people and other people don't necessarily like her. And I like the whole aspect of the movie too, where even as it goes on, she starts to realize like she has this notion that the grass is always greener on the other side. She just wants to do something to get out of Sacramento. And then you start to realize, I like the aspect of the coming of age story of like, is the grass really greener on the other side?
Yeah,
is what you want what you really want kind of thing. And that's a really cool...
part of being 18 and not realizing exactly what you have and like what things you actually do value even though you think you don't like them.
Yeah. And then
it's a great message to take away from the movie.
It's like I hated Brandon until I moved back. It's like I spent 6 months in Virginia and I realized I'm like, yeah, Brandon ain't half bad.
I love that line when she talks about like towards the end of the movie Are we allowed to talk about spoilers and stuff?
Yeah.
For this one?
Yeah.
I mean,
skip ahead. I'll give you a timestamp if you're
it's
so
not even
inclined.
that bad, but the line where she talks about driving into Sacramento.
Well, it's not even that plot heavy of a movie where it's like spoilers even.
Yeah,
matter.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like.
Yeah.
But when she talks about driving in, she says like she just starts talking about all the things she never quite realized about the town that she took for granted in a way after coming back from New York and stuff. It's just cool shit like that. Like it's just really well written out.
Yeah,
it makes you think.
I also like that the main character Lady Bird, that she was just like kind of annoying. Like, but she wasn't like so annoying to where it's like
she wasn't
you don't
obnoxious.
Like you don't like her, but it was like annoying enough to where it's like
girl.
this like teenage girl would do the things she would do.
Yeah, and you get why people are frustrated with her.
Yeah, you get why people are like kind of like off-putted by her.
Yeah, and they know they're like she's just being a fucking stupid, quirky 17-year-old.
Yeah, she's just.
I thought her brother was funny too.
Yeah, the brother was funny a lot.
Shit.
Oh, I loved her brother.
Yeah, the lines he delivered was so funny.
The brother, I really like the dad.
Also,
the dad, I think, is probably like the best character.
Oh, he's just such a nice. Like,
he was such a dadly dad.
He was just such a nice dad.
Yeah, he's a dad that I think most people like. If your dad died, he'd be like the dad. You'd be like, yeah, it's okay. I'll trade him. I'll trade him for a dad.
Also,
the chemistry between the mom and Lady Bird was really good too. How one minute they'll be arguing and biting at each other,
and then the next
like
all over each other.
Whether at the Goodwill or whatever, looking for the dress. And she finds it and they're arguing and she's like, Mom, why don't you just tell me? Like, you're always being passive aggressive, that. And then she lifts up the dress. She's like, oh, I love it. Kind of.
My mom does that shit.
Yeah.
That character was very similar to my own mother. In weird ways.
Like, it's like where
that hit way too close to heart. It's like, I've had those arguments. I was like, Mom, I just want to be an artist. I want to make a podcast and put it on the internet and talk about movies. That's all I want to do in life. She's like, but you should go to school and be a dentist. I'm like, no.
Why did she want you to be a dentist?
Ben's like, just does, Pierce.
Why a dentist?
And then you're like,
he's just like lawyer.
I'm like, mouths are gross, Mom.
I've been in the ones where it's like, if I was going to go to school, it'd be this one. They're like, you couldn't even get in that one. You're like, oh, well, okay. Right. Podcast it is.
And then, what else was... But, and Lady Bird, I don't really watch movies like Lady Bird, like they're, because it's just a very straightforward movie.
Yeah, like if someone's told you the very ending of the movie, it doesn't influence the movie in any way. If you were to go and watch it. It's
a very just straightforward. Like it's just like a movie.
It's a
movie your mom would enjoy. Yeah. It's a movie you watch it and like your mom would also enjoy watching.
I think this movie is palatable to most people. I think most people can sit down and watch this and take away something nice from it.
I feel like your mom would probably enjoy it.
My mom said that she started watching it several times. It's just like people come home from work or school, and like it just disrupts her.
I know my mom would. It's like I think it's
definitely
very
a movie that like when you read the description, it's not necessarily one that grabs you for movie night. As a popcorn flick, but it's also one that like when you do watch it, you see how well done it is, and you're like, what a great movie.
And these do feel like very realistic characters. Like they don't feel like they're just there to service the plot.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's characters who come in and out of the narrative because like, that's kind of how life is.
Yeah,
like, people run in different circles sometimes for a little bit.
Teenager.
Didn't this movie get a lot of Oscar buzz and talk when it came out and stuff?
Yeah.
And when you watch it, you're like, I can see it.
I get it.
It's definitely award worthy.
Yeah, because it's like and it does capture being like graduating high school very realistically. Because like all the just going from friend group to friend group and all this change
the drama
happening
that
at
encounters,
once. And then because like
not just her too, a lot of other characters in this movie grow with her. As well.
Like her brother takes all the piercings out of his face. I like that he was like this like super smart guy, but then he still had like all the piercings in his face.
He's working in a grocery store.
The one guy she was dating ended up turning out to be gay. And
the other one,
church boy,
huge asshole.
I knew the church boy was gonna become gay as soon as he said, "I respect you too much."
Well,
when that like, you can touch my boobs, and I was like,
I knew he was gay when he was in the drama club.
Nah.
I'm leaving in the pause. I'm gonna make it an extra 2 seconds longer in post.
The views and opinions expressed in this commentary do not hereby reflect.
Let's be honest. If we had a real theater program in our school, I probably would have been in it.
Yeah, exactly. But like when as soon as he said it's because I just respect you so much. I'm like, okay, so she's gonna
like you touch my boobs. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so he's gonna like. He's either gonna be caught like looking at gay porn or kissing a dude, and then he gets caught kissing a dude.
I did make the joke like 10 minutes later. I'm like 10 minutes later, not even 10 minutes, like maybe like 2 minutes before she walks in the bathroom, sees him kissing. I'm like, oh, she's gonna walk in on her boyfriend making out with the dude, and then she turns the corner, and it's making out with the dude. I'm like, called it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, really good chemistry amongst everyone. Well done.
That actor, though, he's like in every artsy movie.
He has something coming out that looks like similar Oscar bait.
He was in Manchester by the Sea, 3 Billboards. This movie.
He was in 3 Billboards.
Oh, yeah. He's in mid-90s.
Yep. Manchester by the Sea. Yeah. What is it that's coming out? Sorry.
Ben is back.
Yeah.
Ben is back.
Ben Burns. I think Waves is what I was thinking of. Maybe, I don't know. I saw a poster for something recently with him.
But like, what I was gonna say,
Moonrise Kingdom. He's only in like artsy shit. Good on him.
Well, yeah,
he got a good agent who finds him stuff that he wants to do.
Right. He does have a good agent, but he was good in Lady Bird, but in 3 Billboards, I thought he wasn't. I thought in 3 Billboards he was like kind of like his acting was a little weak in that movie.
I'd have to rewatch it and keep like a closer eye on it. I didn't think he.
No, I think it's because he was. I think it's just because he's playing off of Frances McDormand, who's
That's
like fucking
thing.
amazing.
Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell's performances in those movies stand out.
They're amazing, and I feel like his
3 Billboards is a fucking killer.
I love that movie.
I feel like his performance in that was just very okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Manchester by the Sea yet. I thought he was good in Lady Bird. I thought he really played the church boy very
Moonrise Kingdom is one that I always meant to get around to.
You never saw that?
I saw
Moonrise Kingdom.
Mid-90s is one I want to see too.
Mm-hmm. You dig Wes Anderson's vibe and movies? Yeah, you like Moonrise.
But I think mid-90s. His character in that one, he looks kind of like a piece of shit in that movie. I think that's probably where he's like his acting's like really gonna come into like form.
Yeah, to really see if he can sell it. Yeah, because he could just be genuinely a sweet guy, and that's why he conveys it so well.
Yeah, exactly.
In like most of his roles. And now if he can actually sell you on like, oh, that guy's a dirtbag.
Yeah, he just looks like a dirtbag in mid-90s.
Mm-hmm. He's got the talent.
I want to see it very bad. My friend Nick saw it. And he said that it's like the whole movie's shot like a skate montage video.
Yeah,
man, I would definitely.
Which is what the trailer definitely makes you feel like that.
Me and Pierce were just talking about that when you were in the other room, just about how like really want to catch mid-90s, but that's gonna be a hard one to find like a showing for around us.
It'll probably be something that I can probably see at Escape because they usually have the cooler movies a little longer than AMC does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to get on to the next movie?
Yeah, let's move on. The Other Side of the Wind was Pierce's pick.
All right.
So she's talking about chicken eggs.
Chicken eggs?
Yeah, the chicken has started laying eggs.
Oh, you have a chicken?
Yeah. Nice. Have you not seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I remember you told me you have a chicken. I forgot about it.
We can go look at the chicken after.
Can we get the chicken as a podcast guest?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
No.
So, chicken, what did you think about Other Side of the Wind? Bark, 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 bark.
We have subtitles on the screen.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk
Chicken's
about...
more of a Ladybird fan.
All right, so we're going to talk about The Other Side of the Wind, which is
a Lost Orson Welles
film that he had edited most of. They touched it up and finished it, and then released it on Netflix. And it's
of course, they remastered it.
Yeah,
because 70s.
Yeah, they kind of had to.
Yeah.
It's about a Hollywood director who emerged from like semi-exile with plans to complete work on his motion picture. He was basically making an art house film.
Yeah, after making like pretty straightforward, like he's been known as a great director for making the great American movies.
Yeah,
but then he like wants to venture into this like real art house, like, and they show like clips of the movie like throughout it.
He wanted to be provocative.
Yeah,
you know what's crazy about this movie is it came out so many years later after his death, and when you're watching this movie, it contends with like modern day movies. It's so ahead of its time.
Yeah, no, it is.
In terms of what it tries to accomplish and the way it's executed, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really interesting movie. I thought the whole movie felt like the whole movie gave me the vibe that jazz like is, where it's just kind of like.
Ooh, very snappy.
Yeah,
it's got a weird flow where it bounces back and
forth. It's like all over the place, and
that's
it's
a good way to describe it.
It's like the movie is very
organized.
jazz. Not that the soundtrack has
organized
jazz in it,
chaos,
but it's just like a jazzy movie. Because like jazz is all over the place, but it's still a song.
Yes,
you're like listening to it. And this movie is just like the dialogue is all over the place.
It's hoppy, it's original, and
it's hard to follow individual conversations, but it all comes together to say something.
Yeah,
and the dialogue is very biting.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the whole
Everybody's
thing.
so snappy with every single line. Like almost every movie could be like a quote almost.
There's so many good quotable fucking lines of dialogue.
And I love when everybody like first off the way the movie's told, like how it uses the plot device of like it's a movie that's about a documentary crew following a director who wants to screen his movie.
It's not even a documentary crew; it's a bunch of different documentary crews, and it's like from like the perspective of all of them. And they're like they keep telling like, "Why are you guys over here? Go over."
But I love when they're all trying.
Which
to
is why there's gaps in the narrative. because it's just when they were actually in private, you don't know what was going on.
I love when they're all trying to pile in the car with him.
Yeah,
and
there's
the other
5
guy
dudes on the
on
car.
the way to the
he's
birthday
like falling
party.
off the back of
There's
the car.
so many dudes on the car, and they even let the one guy off at one point.
Yeah, they're like, dude, you're gonna fall. We gotta get you the fuck out.
They were like, the cop said, like, that's not gonna fly, you know. And then like, no, but
just drop him
but
off.
I'm gonna butcher it, but I love the way the guy like asks the question. He says like, "Can film imitate life, or can life imitate film?" And he's just asking him all these questions, and you're just like, it's almost like what this movie's like.
Yeah,
he's like, do you think a movie is the reflection of the lens? Or life is a reflection on the lens, or lens a reflection on life, or something like that?
Yeah, whatever it was such a cool like. The movie has plenty of snappy dialogue that make you like raise your eyebrows. You're glued to the screen the whole time. And then
one of my favorite lines was like it was simple. It's not even like super like philosophical. It's just like when he's like when he just says, just the way he delivers it, he's like, oh yeah, he bought him the car. He was supposed to get the car as a bonus when he finished the film, and he's like, and he did it, or he's like, he did it, so he doesn't.
Yep.
I love how like
I love the style.
Yeah, this is a movie that I feel like that if we made the attempt to do a full analysis on, we would become the subject that it's making fun of people trying to attribute too much value onto filmmakers and their intent of what they mean to say. And I think that we would fall into that gaggle of people who are idiots who think they're intellectuals by following on the coattails of another person's genius.
And that's what I think.
Yeah,
this movie.
I read the source code on this one.
The movie does have an oddly like satirical take on like how people like.
And the thing is there's shit to talk about.
Yeah,
but by doing it, it's like you're falling into the trap.
What you're talking about, they're saying that like to a filmmaker, the biggest and yet most inspiring thing is it's also its worst enemy, and that's like what people think of them and of their art, of their portrayal in the films and everything. Mm-hmm. Literally, it's like his biggest thing. It's the most inspiring thing to him, but it's also the thing that can hold an artist back.
Building off of what Ben said, like the whole time I was watching the movie, I feel like I think am I just a little too dumb to understand like the bigger meaning of this movie? And then as it went on, I'm like, I think this movie is just straightforward and kind of like
I think it's faux it's faux intellectual.
Yeah, it's just like
I feel like they did a lot of things where it's like this is gonna make people talk, but people really are talking about the thing, not the idea.
Yeah, that's
like,
a certain
there's
part,
a separation between the two.
You think too hard about the movie. There's a certain part where it's just like, okay, they're just saying that because that's how that person in real life would just talk.
This movie
doesn't have to be essential to the story.
There's a lot of blank canvas, and they want people. I think it gives people room to paint on their own narrative to it.
Yeah, and I think too, it's also like you can analyze this movie as almost two different movies. You can analyze the one that's following the director and the crew and everyone like making commentary on it. And you can analyze the actual film within the film, which is like the artsy.
And the film within the film, I think, doesn't make sense on purpose. Like, it's just a bunch of things happening that don't connect for real. And I think that alone will probably, there's going to be someone like trying to analyze
Everybody can apply something they want to that.
And also, like with the dialogue of the movie, there was a lot of like, just like throwaway dialogue because it was just like, it's just them filming a party basically. So that's what happens at the party, just people talking nonsense. Yeah. But then it's cool because within all the nonsense they're talking, like there's story, like little bits and pieces just being revealed. Yeah. As it goes on
about the sub narrative of the filming of the film.
Exactly, and there's like things as it goes on, like you realize, oh, okay, so this is what happened. And
that being said, of all the times for the power to go out, it's got to be at the screening fucking party.
But I think it was intentional.
Yeah. Remember they were making jokes that the midget cowboys were sabotaging it? And
they said John Dale... At first, like, they start talking about how John Dale probably sabotaged it. And you're like, well, why would he sabotage his own movie?
John Dale never shows up.
And they're like, why would he sabotage
his own movie? You feel like they're building
up
to it, but no, it's not. It's like, as a film, you expect John Dale to show up. Because that's what you expect from a narrative. Because it's been building up to it. But he never does show up. Because that's probably what would happen in real life. Because life is not a movie. There is no climax. There is no rising, falling action. And then it's just, it goes from point A to point B.
But then at the very end, he finally does show up, and then he's like, "Get in the car."
That's the tongue-in-cheek part of it.
And then he does get in the car, and he goes, he goes, "What are you, too chicken?" And then he goes off and dies in a car crash.
But there's no like moment. Like it's just there.
Yeah, it's not like
John
it's not
Dale's
like it was like
here. It's not like everybody was there and everybody rushed him and had their It's like no, it's just
everyone had left.
That's the book closing. You know,
one of my favorite. I love the certain cinematography they do in this movie, like certain camera shots and like there's a lot of cool shit they did. I love the one where like it's like the showing of The Other Side of the Wind when they're watching it. It's like towards the start where the guy like is following the
girl in the bar.
Girl. Remember, she buys the doll. He buys the doll and follows her in the bar.
Yeah,
that scene in the bar is one of the coolest
all the lights and stuff.
Fucking scenes I've seen.
It's so beautiful.
I love the way it's shot. I love the way it's done when she walks in the bathroom.
There's all the
and
layers.
the cans rolling across the bar, the bathroom floor. Just so cool, and that song playing in the background, really jamming psychedelic rock song.
It was like it really felt like the Doors type song.
I was vibing on that scene like hard. It was so
really
cool.
It was really cool. There's a lot of stuff that scenes just kind of placed on top of each other and put on transparency. So it's like it kind of has like a trippy vibe to it, but it's nothing so in your face whoa.
It was very visually appealing though. It was so cool to just watch.
And there'd be close-ups of women dancing, and at first you can't even tell it's a woman's body.
You can see the eyes through the cracks of the bathroom doors and stuff like that. They're all peeking around.
There was one scene they had. It was like a reflection where they showed the reflection of the woman looking in on the guy, and the camera pans out and you realize that you're not actually looking at the woman, you're looking at the reflection of the woman looking in, and it does a weird,
it's just really really cool shit. That, and I really liked when they went to the drive-in, especially at the end of the movie when everyone's leaving, kind of thing, just the way it looked, it just caught me out. That would be a great poster, man. It's just something,
this is really
cool landscape.
This is the one where it's saying afterlife exists pretense. This is the one to talk to Orson Welles about. I feel like since he spent so long working on it, was such a passion project, it would be interesting to pick his brain if he was still around, be able to figure out what his thoughts were, and if he had seen this version of it, if it matches what his vision was.
What was it? It said it was shot between 70 and 76, and then it was edited here and there, through the
up until his death.
Yeah, and then that means there was so much footage left behind.
This is the movie where there was probably a 4-hour cut he had at one point where he's just I need to figure out how to.
Orson Welles was truly somebody that just he loved making the thing. It's he didn't even. He's I'll finish it eventually. I guess was the end game, but it's just really something to watch.
Well, and another thing, with the movie, I kind of I wonder if Orson Welles does this is an Orson Welles movie, but it's is this how he wanted it to be, the final product to look? And I was I don't know, it's kind of weird, how they kind of, I'm sure his estate obviously had to sign off on it, but they're kind of banking on Orson Welles after he died. But then in the trailer for the documentary, the partner documentary that goes with this,
I've been wanting to check that out.
He says to the guy in the movie, the actor Peter Bogdanovich, he says to him, he's if I die before this movie is made, you promise me that you have to finish it.
Yeah.
So, and then he did. So Peter Bogdanovich was heavily involved with
really
the finishing of it.
And speaking
so then that made me feel better. I was okay, so it's not an icky thing, this movie. It's right,
they didn't
not
just put
Hollywood.
it out as a cash grab, slapping his
tasteful.
name on it.
Yeah, it wasn't oh, everyone loves the great director Orson Welles. Let's finally make
this is done to honor him and to show everybody that
it's a tribute.
Someone made the promise,
legacy,
and it finally got made. And I'm sure Peter Bogdanovich's whole life after. Or his life after Orson Welles died, he's probably thinking God, I gotta fucking finish that movie.
How can I live up to that?
Yeah, he's Orson Welles told me to finish one of his movies.
And speaking of him, I really liked his performance in this. I like that the idea that
he was one of my
he has a line
characters.
about being the apostle, not a follower, whatever, something to that effect.
He's he has so many other disciples. I'm more of the apostle.
That's exactly what it was. He's I'm the Paul. I'm the one who's writing this after he'll be gone.
Exactly,
which is
such
that's what
really
happens. Weird parallel,
because that's what really happens.
It's an oddly powerful movie, especially because the main character, the director, has such parallels.
Do you think Orson Welles intentionally did not finish the movie before he died? Then, do you think
it's something to think?
Do you think on a meta level he's I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to make someone else finish it.
Hard. That's hard to say because there's other projects too that he hasn't finished.
I know, but what if this is the one? Whatever. We're getting too fucking deep into that.
That is a fun theory, though.
But I want to see the Last Picture Show with Peter Bogdanovich. That's one I've never seen, but I've heard nothing but great things.
That's an Orson Welles movie?
No, it's a movie that Peter's
Ben, is that what you're
featured
gonna,
in.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Okay.
We were talking in the car earlier.
But
it's
a group of high schoolers come of age in a bleak, isolated, atrophied West Texas town that is slowly dying, both culturally and economically.
Yeah, and it's directed by Peter Bogdanovich.
Oh,
so that's
and he's in it?
Yeah, he's in it. He's not a lead or anything, but he appears
Jeff
in it.
Bridges is in it.
Yeah,
oh shit.
Yeah, and this is a 1971. I feel like it's got room to be like interesting because even if he was like even slightly in real world, like a Orson Welles apostle, like seeing his works. I don't know. It's something I want to do on my own, probably. To
and that's
check
what Orson,
out.
that's what Orson
really
Welles said.
cool, man.
That's what Orson Welles said. He's like, as soon as this movie's released, everyone's gonna be like, gonna think this character's me. This character's me.
Yeah, and it's not.
And it's actually not what he's going for. Because when I was watching, I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be like him inserting himself in the movie.
Yeah,
but
it
like,
wasn't.
I think there's elements probably, but not as an overall.
Yeah,
but
John
then you realize
Huston's
it's more
character was like an amalgamation of many different other personalities.
But then we were talking about Hemingway.
Yeah, and they talk about Hemingway in the movie, and he even drinks like Hemingway.
Yeah,
he's constantly the whole movie. He's just progressively getting drunker.
But there are things that
Jake Hannaford, he's just a very interesting character, and he's supposed to. He's mysterious. You want to get to know him more, and he gives you almost nothing.
Right. Exactly, and that's
probably like my stories have already been told a million times. I don't need to tell them again.
And that's probably what it is like the whole thing.
But we don't get to see those stories because we exist in that second of the narrative.
You almost feel like you're inserted. You're just at that party with a camcorder, or you're the teenage girl that he's talking to about all kinds of shit.
To talk about.
It is cool because the movie does throw you in that of like you want to know as much as you can about this legendary guy.
And now I have to watch his other movies.
So when all the people are running around with a tape recorder of like the book that never got released, kind of thing, you're listening, you're glued to that too because you're like, I need to know as much as possible about
because then it's like random tidbits of him just telling wise
his
old
random
advice.
musings. Yeah, and what's funny is we all watched this independently, and I think we all knew it was a good movie, but I think talking about this has elevated it for me at least.
Yeah, no,
like now that we're talking about it, like I'm starting to piece things together.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
Connect ideas. I think
it's really cool, man.
This is a fucking great movie.
No,
it's one of the like you know that like I'm sitting with me a little bit. Like this might be one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
We can almost dedicate.
It's Orson Welles, so it's like
we can almost dedicate a whole analysis episode to this if we really wanted to.
This is such a
and it's one
fun
like
movie.
you said, you plan on watching it again. I think it's one that if you were to watch again, you would start picking up on things. And it's a movie you can overthink all you want and find new things about it, or it's a movie you can just not think too much of and watch it and enjoy it for what it is and also get things out of it.
Yeah.
It's a really just cool movie. I get that some people aren't gonna dig it. Like, it's one you have to be awake for. You have to definitely be ready to pay attention.
Yeah, because this is honestly, I know I did. Pierce, you might have, where it's like I started this movie one night, just expecting like I can just sit down and watch this, but like I started to get just remotely sleepy. Like this needs my full attention. Like it deserves more than that.
I
had
really
to stop.
does.
I had to come back to it the next.
I know
day.
you almost feel rude, like watching it, like not with
focused.
full attention.
Yeah.
And now it just makes me want to watch all of his other movies because this is the first Orson Welles movie
after
I've
watching this, I went on a big Orson Welles kick. I started doing research on him. Like it's just super cool.
Have you seen any of his other movies?
No, but I was a huge fan of when I came across. He did the radio play.
You ever seen Citizen Kane even?
No, I've actually never seen
Citizen Kane. I'm making you assholes watch Citizen Kane on my week.
Have you seen Citizen Kane?
Yes.
Okay.
It's on a bit of a pedestal. It's kind of in that touchable zone.
Yeah.
But it's still a fucking damn good movie.
But
that like you should watch.
He was known for doing the radio play of War of the Worlds.
Yep. Which I did a report on that.
The one that freaked everybody out. You know what I mean? Like watching it was so well done, and I came across that like
was it the Klondike?
Forever ago when I was younger, and it was
Magnum
super
PI.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. I think he directed several episodes.
Of Magnum PI?
I believe.
Orson Welles?
I believe.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You know, I read somewhere too that the Jodorowsky's Dune that never got made. I read that he wanted Orson Welles to be in that. Like he handpicked him. Yeah. He was supposed to be in it and everything, but like obviously that shit fell through.
How come directors never collab on a movie? Like, you know how rappers collab on albums?
I don't think directors can because
it happens.
But it's still. I feel like as a director, it is your objective to have narrative, like full control of the entire production.
Okay, but imagine if you had like just like
too much overlap in like.
No, but you had
a movie is the projection of your own soul in a way. You know, I don't think you can have overlap of two people doing it unless you're like really close to that person, like the Russo brothers or
the
guys who made
Crank. The guys who made Crank.
Yeah, I guess.
But there's
just compatible to do it.
The Coen brothers collaborate all the time.
But but they're brothers. That doesn't count.
Yeah. That's because they're basically already the same person.
I'm talking about like
hold on. Just because you're brothers, you say that doesn't count. No, it's like hold on. If I had to make a movie and I had to collaborate with one of my brothers, it would be just because you're brothers doesn't mean you can collaborate on everything.
No, I'm just saying like what I mean like they collaborate someone like Martin Scorsese makes like very good movies, and someone who makes similar movies like Francis Ford Coppola
I think it's like what Ben said. Both those people are their own, like, they have such a vision that no other person can complete that vision.
It's sort of like the town's only big enough for the one of us.
And, but, like, sometimes if you have two giant stars and important, like, flames like that, it's like you just can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they burn too bright and they would blind each other.
I think that our human brains, we watch this movie.
Interesting to watch, though.
It could be.
Do you think a mortal human could watch such a movie?
I don't think it would ever get. I don't think it would ever get done.
Do you think
even if it got
developmental? But would it be too good?
There'd be two cuts. It'd be two different directors' cuts.
Yeah, because they're probably, especially with people like Martin Scorsese, they know they're one of the.
They know they're
Would it be something that, like, as a normal movie viewer, we would watch and our heads would just explode from, like, just perfectness?
Or actually, we would be so. It would actually be the most disappointing movie because it's just a mess of a clash of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I don't want to cut it short, but there's just way too much to unpack about Other Side of the Wind, but it's definitely one that's worth watching if you enjoy film.
So how would you rank the 3 movies we watched?
Other Side of the Wind is in a league of its fucking own.
All right.
So Lady Bird is fantastic, and Hellraiser, while it does so many things I like, and it is definitely in the vein of my favorite genre.
It's hard to compare to these movies.
It's such a different thing. Like, it's not...
All right,
it's not art in the way that the others are.
I agree with your list and reasonings 100%.
Yeah,
I know. I have to go with Ben on this one.
This is, I think, one of the first times we're all unanimously like,
that's a 3, 2, 1.
That's a definitive order of. How
I don't
to
regret
check
any
out.
of the movies.
No,
Hellraiser
fills good movies. They're all like.
Because I watched Lady Bird, I watched Other Side of the Wind, and then I finished with Hellraiser. Because Hellraiser was just like, I gotta get this out of my system. I need normalcy.
Turn off my brain for a little bit.
See, I did Lady Bird, Hellraiser, Other Side of the Wind.
Yeah, so you had a sandwich of
you
had like a way around. See, I did.
Yeah, I think I found a pin in my sandwich.
Hellraiser, Lady Bird, Other Side of the Wind.
So you escalated.
I escalated into thought-provoking movies.
You watched it in literally every configuration possible, almost. But yeah, so that was that last week. This week is in honor of TJ since we fucked him out of his last time he had the opportunity to pick 3 movies.
Part 2.
So this week I chose Enemy Mine. No, I'm kidding. One day, guys. No, but for my week, the movie that I haven't seen that I've been meaning to check out, it just dropped on Netflix, called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Speaking of the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's an anthology film.
Have they directed movies on their own?
Yes.
Yeah,
they have.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I've seen any of their like singular movies.
But this is an anthology film comprised of 6 stories, each dealing with a different aspect of life in the Old West.
And you know
it's also 2 hours and 12 minutes.
But it's got a really cool cast.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got like a really like strange ensemble.
Starring Liam Neeson, James Franco,
Zoe Kazan from.
I always draw a blank.
Not the Big.
Who's
Short,
the main
actor? The Big Sick.
Who's the main actor guy?
It's a movie you mentioned in your first appearance on the podcast.
The Big Sick's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. Who's the main actor guy in this?
The one from Where Brother.
Brother. I'm trying to blank on his name.
He's a 3 name.
He's the leader in the Hulk movie.
Tim Blake Nelson.
See, he's 3 named.
Yeah. He's the main star, I think, of it, right? That would tie it together,
it looks like he's like gonna be the narrator that kind of like brings all the stories together.
But huge fan of like most of the Coen brothers.
It's weird that they don't have the Incredible Hulk listed for him.
You know, I hear the Coen brothers is weird because like they have a lot of great movies, but then they have like just like 1 or 2 that are just hot ass.
He's in the Hulk.
Like The Lady Killers. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
I never saw that one.
That's not a good movie.
But
it's a Coen Brothers movie.
I like most of the Coen Brothers movies I've seen.
It's
like,
a Coen Brothers movie. It's a Coen Brothers movie that has Marlon Wayans in it.
Okay. But I mean, there's Fargo. There's
Fargo's
Big
great.
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski's great.
No Country for Old Men.
I haven't seen Inside Llewyn Davis yet.
I think one of the weaker ones I saw, I didn't hate it by any means, but A Serious Man. It was a good movie, but it's not my favorite Coen Brothers
That one's not my favorite Coen Brothers. It's a good movie.
I enjoyed it, but
I thought it was going to be a little more humorous than it was. Like, it definitely had humor, but I thought it was going to be a little more like how like Big Lebowski.
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was a great one.
Yeah, exactly. But then
love that one. I could watch anytime.
Then you have the fucking Lady Killers. I don't know what happened there.
I was reading about I was going down a Coen rabbit hole on IMDb the other day and reading about some in U.S. There's one movie they did with Sam Raimi. It's like
they directed a movie.
I think it's called Crime Wave.
Okay, so there you go, collab movie. The Coens collab with Sam Raimi.
Yeah. They ended up I think writing it with him or something. It's just a really odd sounding movie.
What's it called?
Crime Wave, I believe.
Look it up. I just want to see like a brief synopsis of what.
Apparently, it's
Sam
just
Raimi
a crazy weird movie. Like it's silly. It's kind of like a goofy.
Well, that's Raimi for you.
Yeah, and then Coen Brothers get pretty zany.
Yeah, very true.
And they have it's weird. They have very serious movies and they have very
1985.
They have very funny movies.
It was directed by Raimi, but written by the Coen Brothers, which happens more often than not.
Look, no,
like,
it was written also with Sam Raimi. It says one more credit.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
So,
but every director does a treatment of the script.
Like, yeah, just like Quentin Tarantino didn't direct True Romance, but he wrote True Romance, and he was a guest director.
Tarantino actually had the story.
Okay, now that I keep thinking of examples where directors are collabing on movies. Now that I've said I've never seen a movie where directors collab. Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez,
collab all the time.
Yeah, he's guest director Quentin Tarantino.
Even if I think like anything they've remotely starred in together or worked with together, even if they're not listed, one of them is listed as a director, but you know for a fact they were putting their own 2 cents in and working out something.
I saw Robert Rodriguez give a speech and he was like talking about movies, and it was really interesting hearing him talk about making like what's the one that's
El Mariachi?
Yeah, El Mariachi. I was gonna say El Dorado.
It's the one that he did on like such a small budget.
No, his
first movie.
And like he's talking about the scene where like there's a scene where he like they have an Uzi and he shoots everyone at the table with the Uzi. Mm-hmm. He's like the gun that because it was such a cheap like shooting budget, the gun that he had was only able to shoot single fire. Mm-hmm. Like it was only able to shoot 2 bullets. So he had to. What he did was it was like looped back and forth, like it went backwards and stuff. So it would be like and it was only like small cuts of small cuts of the machine gun coming onto the screen. So then it so it doesn't, you couldn't tell that it was like something that was looped back and forth like the shots after shot.
Nice.
And it was just interesting hearing him talk about it. He's cool.
That's pretty cool. I've seen him in some interview. And you saw him in person, right?
Yeah, I took a picture with him.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've always watched like some of his videos on YouTube and stuff, and I know he has that book too, The Rebel Without a Crew or something. That's really cool. Just
now he's making Alita Battle Angel, and I don't think I want to see that movie. Yeah. And then Peter Jackson's making Mortal Engines, and I don't want to see that movie either.
TJ wants to see Mortal Engines,
sort of,
but I'm not particularly sold on the concept.
It looks dumb as shit. It looks dumb as shit, but it looks like it might be cool.
Could be fun.
Yeah. Anyway,
it just looks like a...
Peter Jackson knows how to scale really well.
Yeah, but it just kind of looks like a... based off of a teen...
It's based off of like a book that like 12 to 14-year-olds love.
Yeah, and I don't like movies based
If I had money to buy books at the book fair when I was in middle school...
Yeah, Mortal Engines would have been like the hot shit 6 years after we graduated high school. Like it was just like the way generation after us.
The Hunger Games. It's ever since Harry
Potter...
It
fits that...
I get that vibe.
Ever since Harry Potter, young adult novels becoming movies is like a...
I think it's always been a thing, to an extent.
But I can't even think of an example before.
No, they tried doing it. Well,
there's gotta be. There's a bunch of 80s shit out there.
I don't know about necessarily before.
I'll have to do it in post. I'll throw up a big list.
But anyway,
let's not get too carried away with ourselves.
So the next movie, one that I've seen that I'm recommending to you guys, Freeway from 1996. It's a twisted take on Little Red Riding Hood, where a teenage juvenile delinquent on the run from a social worker traveling to her grandmother's house and being hounded by a charming but sadistic serial killer and pedophile, starring Kiefer Sutherland and Reese Witherspoon.
So Reese Witherspoon is not one of the legal teenage years.
I guess so.
Okay.
I think she's like 17 or something.
I mean, I'm sure when she filmed
it's like 17, so it's like the audience can think she's hot because she's 17, but he's totally a pedophile for hunting down that 17-year-old kind of thing.
Before you say anything, watch the movie. Because this is one that I was flipping channels the other day and I came across. I forgot about this movie.
You came across this in the middle of the movie. I walk in and he's just got like a magazine full of like 40 magazines like named like young girls. And
my god! No, this is a wild ride of a fucking movie. It says a twisted take on Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, let's go with that. Right. It's an interesting movie. And
also, it's got Kiefer in it.
It made me want to rewatch it.
I like any movie that paints Kiefer Sutherland as a terrible person.
He's really good at being a piece of shit.
Reese Witherspoon's he's really good at being a piece of shit because he is. He stole Solid Snake.
I thought you were gonna drop some shit on Kiefer real fast. I'm like, what has he done? I know he gets drunk a lot, but
Kiefer Sutherland stole. David Hayter didn't even know he wasn't gonna be Snake.
Yep.
Until
that's
the
like
fucking
coming
game
home to
came
find
out.
your wife fucking another man.
He didn't even know. He just saw a trailer for Metal Gear Solid one day. He's like, I don't remember making another Metal Gear Solid game.
That's like another guy wearing your clothes and driving your car.
It's like, what the fuck, dude? David Hayter is solid steak.
Yeah. And
and my new release that I'm gonna do is Ralph Breaks the Internet comes out.
Yeah,
and that's
that'll be a good palate
cleanser. We don't
cleanser.
need to talk about it. It's just we're watching.
It's Wreck-It Ralph 2, man.
If
it looks
the
fun.
Emoji Movie had heart and soul.
Not the Emoji
Movie.
Was it Ben?
Like, care behind
Was it you that said it? Somebody told me it pretty much looks like Ready Player One, but like Disney's version.
Yeah, Disney's Ready Player One.
Like,
yeah,
with
no,
Ralph
that's a very good. It's Disney's Ready Player One.
And Ready Player One was cool to me. I enjoyed it.
I didn't watch Ready Player One.
It was a fun time at the movies.
I wasn't really like. I
was alright.
I was super into the Iron Giant being into it, and then I kind of forgot about the movie and never saw it.
It had one
of the Godzilla was really pretty.
It had one of the coolest homages to The Shining I've ever seen.
That was probably really cool.
There's a bunch of there's a couple Shining Easter eggs in that movie, Coco. That Pixar movie.
Is there?
There's like there's a scene where
we watched that for the podcast.
There's like the two twins, like a cutout of the two twins. You can see them like in like one of the marketplaces or something.
I have to go hunt that down.
Or no, that might be there's multiple Shining references just throughout Pixar movies.
Yeah, I know there's the pattern for the hotel carpet is in a
Toy Story.
It's in Toy Story.
And I think the one I was talking about.
And Monsters Inc. has a reference too. I'm pretty sure.
I think the cutouts might be a different Pixar movie, but there's another reference to The Shining.
Yeah.
There's like I think he has like maybe the axe from The Shining in the movie.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly.
Huh.
But I just think I think it's funny whenever like children's movies make references to movies kids aren't even allowed to watch.
Yeah, they wouldn't even like register as a like reference.
Yeah, like in the Lego Batman movie, they're like one of the bad guys is Agent Smith from The Matrix, which is an R-rated action movie that kids can't watch. I'm sure kids have watched.
But I feel like kids probably know who Agent Smith is though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to an extent.
Well, that's like
through pop culture bleeding into other things.
That's the people being self-aware. Like kids know what this is. But it's just cool seeing like something that would be for adults just mixing in with kids, and it works. The Lego Batman movie is fucking funny as shit. It made me laugh more than it should have.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty enjoyable. All right, so is there anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap this one up?
Any honorable mentions?
Oh wait, no. Did any movies you guys watch recently? That's interesting.
Ben and I yesterday watched Life Force.
Oh man, that was a weird fucking movie.
Fucking insane Tobe Hooper
Life
flick.
Force was a Tobe Hooper movie. It was one of Canon's last big releases. They sank $25 million into it, expecting it to be this huge blockbuster, and it failed critically and commercially.
Awesome.
Yep. But
based on
it's about
novel,
space vampires.
Based on a novel literally called
completely seriously?
The Space Vampires.
Yes. Completely seriously. Space vampires, and they're like, they make people super horned up, and then it sucks your life force. It like literally sucks your life force. It's fucking weird. It's crazy. It's worth a watch if you want a movie that goes from like 0 to 100 real goddamn fast.
You like space, you like vampires, you like chaos.
Yeah.
And you like...
There's so many weird
everything.
things.
Patrick Stewart's in it.
Patrick Stewart's in it for like 20
minutes. A minor
minutes.
role. Patrick Stewart's in it. It's an early
he's
Patrick
billed
Stewart
in like
movie.
the opening credit. Dude, this movie it's weird.
Life Force.
It's weird.
Me and Ben just we heard about it. We're like, let's watch it. Space vampires. I'm in.
Yeah, I was like going down a list of like just kind of relatively obscure shit, and I was like, Life Force looks cool.
Oh, okay. Just something else I want to brief mention. So Ben recently has purchased a movie called what was it again?
God, I have to run out.
Cosplay Battle Drones.
Yep, that's it.
I think it's cosplay fetish.
Yeah, it's cosplay fetish battle drones, and it looks just like a Power Rangers movie. And that's it. It just looks like it's a Power Rangers movie. They're wearing Power Rangers costumes that are like the quality of the old '90s TV show, not like cheap Halloween costumes. And it's called Cosplay Fetish Battle Drones.
That's $5 at Grindhouse Video, so I said, "Fuck it." I picked up that, and I picked up Chud.
I think we should just do like a Grindhouse episode where we go to Grindhouse and find weird ass movies.
You know what? Maybe that's what we'll do after we go through our last cycle. We'll get I'll get a week, Pierce will get a week, and then we'll do a Grindhouse week.
That sounds fun.
And obviously we have to do a Christmas week for.
Yeah, we'll do a Christmas week.
Yeah. It's definitely something to work on.
So I guess we'll do Christmas, then we'll come back to Grindhouse, kick off the new year with that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if all goes according to plan,
something to do in the near future.
Because think about it, like we record our next episode on the 2nd. That'll be Pierce or myself, right?
And then I believe. Wait, didn't you had to go in the rotation? Correct.
I did. You were the first person to go, and then it was me. Then it was TJ.
Okay, so then it'd be me next.
But then you guys were like, fuck TJ.
It'll be whatever. Yeah. So then
this time we got you. This time.
Yeah. And then on the 16th we'll put out an episode. And then on the 30th, I guess we'll do our Christmas just right after Christmas special, or we'll release it early or something, or maybe that'll be a special episode.
I mean, we could do the 16th. The 16th could be an episode.
Well,
Christmas episode.
Yeah, we could.
Anytime
we'll try to squeak a Christmas episode in between an episode. That'll be our off week.
Yeah, it can just be an in-between episode, something we just drop. We don't have to like announce what we're watching beforehand.
And for Christmas week, we could do it like we did this week. We can all pick a Christmas-themed movie.
Yeah.
And
we don't even have to do a podcast. What if we just did a commentary on like a Christmas movie and just like slice together like the best bits of it?
We'll work it out. We'll put out a Christmas special.
We can do something.
Yeah. I kind of want to do that. That would be fun. I've seen people do like I recently watched just like the best bits of the guy from Your Movie Sucks and his friends watching Wish Upon. Yeah. And it was just fun, like just listening to them.
Tell you what,
make fun of the movie.
Tell us how you like your Christmas special.
Yeah, tell us what you think we should do for a Christmas special. That's all you got. You go on Facebook, send us a message on Facebook, post on our wall, go in the comments of the YouTube.
We'll even make it a holiday special. We can post celebrate Christmas.
What we'll do is we'll post the full.
We'll watch a Kwanzaa movie.
Kwanzaa movie.
Kwanzaa's not a real holiday. Fuck you. Bullshit.
I think
can't invent a holiday in the 80s.
Can't invent a holiday.
Fuck you, Susie Carmichael. I watched that Rugrats special. You couldn't fool 3-year-old Ben.
You can't fool 3-year-old Ben. Fucking barely Hanukkah's real.
Do I want to leave this in?
No, Ben found out where he's going.
I don't give a shit.
Oh, well.
Well, that's a good way to end it. Thanks, bye.
Bye.